So a lot of very important messages that the Prime Minister has put out. Very importantly, also spoke about the roots of India in America, the roots of India in the chamber that he stood in. And that's when he cracked that particular joke, which I enjoyed the most, where he referred to a samosa caucus in the House, saying, I hear it's particularly popular in the House. So you could see that he made that effort, referring to several congressmen, congresswomen who he met the last time around, who tragically had passed away this time, made a mention of their names, Gaurav, added that personal touch. And that's why I think it's resonated so much with all of those senators who you see crowding around him, taking his autograph, clicking selfies and whatnot.
The senators, the congressmen, the congresswomen, you know, India-America ties, and right from 1999-2000, he actually complimented every prime minister and every government. You know, they've taken this relationship forward and brought it to this stage. And he made that point that in 2016, when he addressed this Congress, this joint sitting, he said that, you know, the future holds immense promise, India-America relationship. And he said that future is here in the year 2023. He also realizes that these congressmen and women, whether Republicans or Democrats, extremely crucial to take this relationship forward. As the American President Joe Biden said, India-America relationship is the defining relationship of the 21st century. Why? Because if we were to talk specifically of the Indo-Pacific region, smaller democracies, Akshita, are looking to India and America to stand up to expansionist forces that believe in coercion. And it's technically India that's standing up with American, you know, military hardware, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and other things that are required to keep the sea lanes of communication in the Indo-Pacific safe, where Quad plays an extremely critical role.
Very, very true. Gaurav, the President Biden also made that very important point where he said, you know, that the world has a stake in these two democracies. The world has a stake in these ties between India and America. And that, to me, pretty much summed up why right now everyone's watching this particular visit by the Prime Minister so closely. I want to introduce on this broadcast Major Samar Tur, defense expert who's joining us on this broadcast. Thank you, Major Tur. I know it's very late into the night, 2:50, and you've taken the time out to join us live, so thank you for that. I just want to know, you know, what is your response to the Prime Minister's speech, particularly his message on the Indo-Pacific? You know, he made 2 points. One saying not a time for war, but at the same time ensured that he drove home a point about what was happening in the Indo-Pacific.
Good morning, Akshita. Good morning, Gaurav.
Good morning would be apt, yes.
And to the audience. His speech was mesmerizing, and the response that the Americans have given to his speech is quite evident, because the only calling card for the Americans left in the Asian continent is the largest democracy, that is India. They have no other way to look on to anyone. As far as their ally, so-called Pakistan, now it's gone against them and are not reliable anymore. It's a failed state. So they don't have anybody to look on. And they have issues with Iran. Afghanistan, they had to leave in between, and China's dominance and expansionist mindset is troubling. As Prime Minister Modi said, that it should be a free movement as per international law. It should be safe and secure movement. But now it is having dark clouds of confrontation and danger to sovereignty. And the biggest challenge right now that is there for the Indian continent is the Coco Islands, because there is a 2,300-meter airstrip which is fully functional, and there are speculations that Myanmar has leased it out to the Chinese military. And it is just 45 kilometers north of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So, and this is a very critical issue which has to be addressed at the earliest by India with Myanmar, because it is a place of tactical importance. The Malacca Strait, where 90% of all the trade goes to China and from China towards Europe, is all dependent through Malacca Strait. So China having his eyes on the Coco Islands as well.
Hmm.
So it was imminent for Prime Minister Modi first to call out the card against China, which basically we are going to fight it out. Basically, America has got somebody who's got the back. That
True.
is us. And to confront North Korea, they have South Korea, they have Japan.
Which is why
So
very often they, this particular visit, and Gaurav, if you could also pitch in on this, this particular visit has been referred to as more crucial perhaps for America than for India, to send out that very clear message to China that we've got India on our side.
Well, India is the country that stood up to China. Whether you'd recall Doklam 2017, Galwan 2020, and ever since, at the same time, India maintains that very independent foreign policy in terms of not being a part of either that NATO plus invitation that was given. An External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, made that point very clear. But, you know, India-America relationship is not just dependent on China. China is a very important factor. It's an expansionist force. India has been saying this all along. China is an expansionist force that needs to be dealt with, and America is realizing this only now, when China's debt trap diplomacy and Wolf Warriors and Belt and Road Initiative, especially post-COVID, are directly taking America on or impacting American interests adversely. So China is one aspect, but Indian-American association is much, much more. China may have been the catalyst, forcing India and America to come closer faster. But this relationship, look, space cooperation, very important. Military hardware, yes, that's China specific, but then that also helps the American industry. It also helps jobs in India and America. So, and all of this is very important. The Prime Minister pushing for the African Union to be a part of G20, and that's India's initiative. That's very important, because you have to keep Africa out of China's debt trap as much as possible and encourage multilateralism, ensure India remains the voice of global south and not an expansionist force like China. So a lot is happening, where the Prime Minister's speech was very important, Akshata.